Alright, what's up everybody? My freaking pressure washer gun is leaking, so you might hear the pressure washer kicking on every couple of seconds, so just gonna have to deal with it today until we get a new one. But yeah, we're washing the blue 335i as the first wash and talk for this car. Couldn't wash it before because the windows were all jacked up, but now we got those fixed so we can wash it. So the rims are mismatched. I still need turbos. Car needs a lot of work. Every light on the dash is up. But we're going to slowly start to make our way through this. So my goal is to start doing wash and talks more regularly again. I fell off because I was just busy with work, and now I'm making a commitment to myself to do these more often. So let's get started. So I don't remember when the last wash and talk I did was, but it's certainly been a while. So a lot to catch up on. I think the last wash and talk I did was right around when the market started to shift, and thankfully we were super conservative on our numbers for the flips that we were working on. So there wasn't any carnage on my side. Most of the properties we had were at a low enough price that, you know, we just dropped the price on the back end and still made money. So we've got one flip that's still finishing up. Well, we finished the remodel last week, and we listed it for sale on Monday, so we'll be getting rid of that one pretty soon. So I don't expect it to last long. We've had a bunch of showings, so hopefully we get that one finished with, and we can focus on our next strategy. In the meantime, we've been getting a lot of money back from these flips and stuff like that, so we've been able to start hunting for a cabin up north. Julie and I have been looking for a cabin in Pine Top. I've wanted to get one for a while, and you know, the market was just crazy, so I figured it wasn't a good time to get one up there. But now that the prices are starting to come down and sellers are starting to lower their prices and be, you know, a little bit more negotiable with buyers, it's kind of the time for us, I think, to get one. But I feel like time is on our side. We're in no rush. We'll probably end up getting something that needs some work and remodel it and, you know, spruce it up to our liking. We went up there like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we saw one that we really liked, and it was in a good location. The numbers worked to Airbnb it for when we weren't using it, and we wrote an offer, and it was about to get accepted, but then somebody came in with a full price offer that was significantly higher than ours, and so we just let them have it. I wasn't really in the mood to chase it down, and I figured the longer I wait, the better cabin I'll get and the better price. So we let the other buyers have it. So it hasn't closed yet, but we're kind of waiting to see how that one plays out. But we found another one that we like, thanks to Julie looking outside of our price range. It's definitely doable for us, but it's more than what we wanted to spend. So we wrote an offer on it, and they gave us a pretty good counter. Their counter was $75,000 off the list, and we want to be about $150 off the list. So we're halfway there, and you know, we'll let them kind of, you know, figure out what's going to happen in the market, and if it works out, great. If not, I'm not in the mood again to chase a deal up there, considering it's just going to be a second home, and maybe we'll Airbnb it here and there. But let's get the other wheel in the back. The wheels are mismatched right now. My goal this week is to go get some tires for the rear so I can put the matching ones up front. The other rims are alright, but I just like these ones better. They're OEM, and I think they're off of an M5. So I have another set of these exact rims that I was going to put on the 5 Series, but I really like them, so I'm going to match up the rears hopefully in the next week. So kind of the goal, I guess, for this car is to do the outside. So let's get the back wheel done. But yeah, the goal with the cabin is for Julie and I to spend, you know, most of our summer up there, and then during the slow season rent it out here and there just to recoup some of the cost of it. But I think it would also be fun to what do you call it, you know, spend the holidays up there. So have our family go up there for Thanksgiving and Christmas when it's snowing, and have a white Christmas. So that's kind of on our radar as well. But it would be nice to just like have friends go up there, play board games, smoke some ribs, do that kind of thing, and then kind of learn the Airbnb game a little bit, because I don't really know much about that. I've kind of written it off the past few years, and I think I regret that a little bit, because I think there's a lot of opportunity in Airbnbs that I missed out on because I was just like focused on long-term rentals, which, I mean, at the end of the day, long-term rentals are the easiest and best way to kind of build up your net worth, but the Airbnbs would have been nice too. But I just didn't really believe in putting on all the work to manage it and stuff like that. These rims are filthy. So this will give us kind of an opportunity to learn the Airbnb with minimal downside, because at the end of the day, we're buying it as a second home. And ultimately, my goal would be to, once we have kids and stuff like that, to not Airbnb it and just use it strictly as our second home. Just because I don't want a bunch of losers messing up my stuff. So once we have kids, I'd probably get fresh furniture and, not have random people in there, not have to lock up our stuff, just be able to go there straight from the office, have all our stuff ready to go. But I guess that's not as important to me when we're, still, when we're going up there with just friends and stuff. But once we have a family and stuff, I don't want to have to deal with that. So it would be like a beta test for that kind of stuff. And, if it works out and we're able to make money or break even on the cabin, then it's a big win for us. But if it doesn't, no big deal. We can just, use it as our second home. I really like these rims, or the color of these rims, but they're just like beat to shit. Like they're all gouged up and stuff. So I'll probably end up just selling them. They're 4G Star wheels, so I think they're pretty decent wheels, and they're pretty popular, I think, for this car. But I don't know. I don't like them enough to put in the work to restore them, so I think I'd rather just sell them to somebody else, and just keep the M5 wheels. I think I like those better. So that's going to be the goal, is to get tires and get those on. But I think what I'm going to do with this car is I'm going to end up doing all the cosmetic stuff, like clean up the interior, get the wheels done, give it a good detail, and make some videos about that, and then start on the mechanical stuff. This one won't be as intense as the silver car, just because it doesn't need as much, but it definitely needs turbos, and I mean, every light on the dash is on, so I got to sort through all that. It's definitely a cool car. I do like this car, and it's in really good shape. However, it's just been, it's been heavily modified. There's a ton of spots on the paint that just have like dust nibs, and it's been resprayed on pretty much every panel. And then obviously it's got the body kit and the front hood shaved and, everything. So it's been really heavily modified, which is not really my style, but I'll restore it and play around with it for a while and see kind of what happens with it. But I don't know if I'll hang on to this car long term, just because of all that. But I'm just spending the day at home. Julie and I have been traveling quite a bit on the weekends. That's also kind of why I haven't been doing videos as much. We've been out of town pretty much every freaking weekend. So, and most of the time when I make these videos, it's on the weekend. So, haven't had much ability to make them. But for the next couple of weeks, our next trip I think is not until we go to New York in November. So this is kind of the first 6-week period we've had where we don't have any trips. But we've just been bouncing around, having a good time, and enjoying the newlywed life. And so it hasn't given me much time outside of work to really focus on making these videos, but I do want to keep doing it. And if we end up getting a cabin, I'll definitely probably, or I'll most likely just make some vlogs of remodeling it and the whole process, just because these videos at the end of the day were for me to just share what I'm into, and I figure if I'm into it, other people would be into it. And so far that's held true. We've got some people on the channel that enjoy the car stuff, the real estate stuff, and all that. So we'll just keep up with that for now. But I'm definitely gonna start downsizing the cars. I think I'm gonna end up selling the silver car. I just have way too many, and it's just too much of a hassle to store them all. I never drive the silver car. In fact, it just sits at my mom's house in the garage there. So I recently brought it back here so that I can sell it. That way I have room to park this in the garage and work on it. And then I think I might end up selling the 535i and getting a truck. I don't know if I'm going to go with an F-150 or F-250 diesel, but I'm definitely going forward. But let's get this last wheel done. I really like the new diesel trucks from Ford, so that's probably high on the list. And I've never had a truck. I've always had a car or an SUV, and I've always wanted one because, one, they're pretty useful. I think they're useful to just have around. But and especially if we're going to get a cabin up north, it would be nice to have a truck. I mean, we had the G-Wagon, which is 4-wheel drive, but you know, they put salt and stuff on the roads up there, so I don't know that I want to take the G-Wagon up there too frequently and deal with that. But, you know, if I got a truck, I wouldn't, you know, care about it as much. The other thing about getting a cabin up in northern Arizona is, like, it's in Navajo County, so you can register all your cars there and never have to smog or do any of that nonsense again. So I think that would be another nice benefit, considering the cars that I have are, you know, mostly modified. Yeah, today I've been behind on washing all the cars, so I'm gonna obviously film this one, but I'm gonna wash the G-Wagon, wash the 535i, wash Julie's car, and then I'm smoking a brisket. I just bought a new smoker. I had a Masterbuilt smoker. Well, I still have the Masterbuilt smoker, but I just bought a Traeger pellet grill. I've never had a pellet smoker before, so I'm trying that out. And normally I only smoke pork ribs, because that's just like my favorite barbecue. But now, today, I'm going to smoke a brisket for the first time. So I went to Sam's Club and got a prime brisket, and we're going to give it a try. It's like 17 or 18 pounds. So I'm going to have some of the guys from work over tomorrow. So I'm going to start the brisket tonight and hopefully finish it up by dinner time tomorrow. Have the guys over, watch some football, because should be pretty fun. But yeah, this side is like all grinded up. I'm not sure how they got so bad, but yeah, I mean, the front two wheels aren't as bad as these ones, but I'll probably sell these. But I'm going to get this rinsed off and washed, and then we'll move on to the other cars. But yeah, I know a lot of people are freaking out about the real estate market right now, but the team and I have really found our groove since the market kind of, you know, shifted a little bit. So right now, one of our main focuses is just continuing to build the acquisition side of, you know, client acquisition and getting guys in production as the market continues to shift and people, you know, flee from real estate. And then on top of that, I think we're going to shift our focus from doing long-term rentals to doing short-term rentals, because we're finding deals, right? There's definitely a good amount of equity, but we don't really want to be in the flip game in this market because we can't really predict values well enough. Because things are are shifting so rapidly. So, you know, you can comp out a property, look at the actives, all that stuff, but you don't know what the market conditions are going to be really even 30 days from now. You know, interest rates can continue to rise or interest rates can go down. Whatever it is, you don't really know. So I don't really want to take on that kind of risk. And then with the long-term rentals, it's like we're getting these deals that, you know, normally would work, but they don't work anymore because interest rates now for non-recourse is like 7%. And so you just can't cash flow, and I don't really want to stomach 12 or 14 months or 24 months of negative cash flow. So then we're stuck of just kind of doing nothing, which is also okay. Like, I'm okay with just not buying anything, but in an effort to continue growing my portfolio, I figure I might as well just focus on stuff that's in really good locations that would do well on a short-term rental. And that way we can battle the high interest rates because we'll be cash flowing more. Obviously the management will be more intensive, so we'll have to learn that. But in theory, we're, you know, preserving our capital because we're buying real estate in better locations. Because you can't really, I mean, the locations that we were doing long-term rentals in, you can't really do well on the short-term rental. So, and then we're, you know, obviously getting discounted property, so we don't want to turn that opportunity down. But we're just being super patient. So I feel like time is on our side. With that being said, I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, if things go the other way, if the Fed stops raising interest rates and the party starts again and values continue to increase. Because in theory, with high inflation, real estate values should be increasing, even though they're decreasing right now. So, but we could be facing a period of really low growth, you know, for a long time. So either low growth or negative growth or slow growth, whatever. That's a very high possibility of something we see if the Fed rate continues to rise, which will force mortgage rates up. But let's get this rinsed off and pull it in to dry it. I know the lighting's probably not great with the garage door open, but whatever. But yeah, as I was talking about, I mean, I think we could really see a period of time, I mean, especially after we've seen such high growth the last few years, where we just see a lot of slow growth, which will be hard for a lot of people to adjust to because they've been so spoiled with the way the market's been that they can't wrap their mind around, you know, the market being the way it is right now, and they get like the hammer syndrome where, you know, they're deal junkies, so they have to always be doing deals. And it's not always the best time to be doing deals. So, like, I know they say that, you know, it's not good to have or hold cash during a time of inflation, but like right now you can open an account at Wealthfront and get 2%, and they're talking about raising it another point. So you're getting 3% just on having cash, you know, versus, you know, you could buy real estate right now and be losing 3% a year or more. So choice is kind of yours, what you feel is comfortable. But for me, it's like, there's a quote, you know, that people risk money they don't want to lose for money they don't need. So like right now, like if I were to buy property to make money, I'd be risking money I don't want to lose for money to make money I don't even really need. So I think I'm winning just by doing nothing and just focusing on my active income until I have more confidence in what the market's going to do. And, you know, that spare time that I would have been spending on my investments and stuff, I'll probably spend with you guys and work on the stuff I enjoy. And luckily, you know, I built a big enough business when the times were really good and predictable that I don't have to work as hard right now, and that's okay. But, you know, everybody's singing a different tone now. Some people are saying the market's going to be as bad as 2008, which I don't think that's going to be the case. I think the government will allow some pain, but they won't allow that kind of pain. You know, they'll ease up on interest rates before that, I think. And the good news is, like right now, what we're seeing, the pain that we're seeing is because of the increase in interest rates. Like everything was fine before the increase in interest rates. Job market, you know, was super competitive. Real estate prices were going up, stock prices were going up, everybody's making money. And then they wanted to, you know, slow that down because we don't need that kind of growth. And that kind of growth is not normal or sustainable. So while we can sustain it, they wanted to raise interest rates, which is smart. We need to. We need the short-term pain. But, you know, if the China-Taiwan thing gets out of control, there can be some blood in the streets. But let me know down in the comments what you think's going to happen. I'm feeling really lucky, though, that, you know, I followed my gut, stayed really conservative while everybody else was, you know, going buck wild. Yeah, I probably could have made more money during that time and done more deals. But, man, the stress that I would have right now would not be worth it. Especially like these people, I mean, I know there's a lot of people that, like, got caught up in the, you know, the lower price point markets where they were just buying shit in like Mobile, Alabama, and just buying these $60,000 properties because they were cash flowing. And it's like those properties are just absolute junk. And I don't know, I pride myself on, I mean, we bought one property that was not in a great area. And I mean, the areas that we buy rentals in aren't like, they're not like neighborhoods I would live in. But they're not super scary. But they're scary enough to make great rentals. And so, but yeah, I just stuck to, you know, Metro, like in Tucson, the market there is just so, like the fundamentals of the market are so good, in my opinion, compared to like going to Florence or Arizona City or Coolidge and stuff like that. I'd rather own in, you know, for the same amount of money, I'd rather own in Tucson, right next to a major university, jobs. You know, it just makes way more sense to me to own there than to buy something in Coolidge or to buy something in Buckeye or Rio Rico. Like, I just would never want to hold on to those long term. Versus like Tucson, I feel like there's a lot of growth in that city, and it's really going to be it's going to be a major city. I mean, it already is, but it's going to be even bigger. And so I don't have that same belief in Coolidge and Rio Rico and Sierra Vista and, Yuma. I just would not want to own there long term. And so if I wouldn't want to own it long term, I just go ahead and pass. So, and now I'm glad, you know, now that the market shifted stuff, you know, I'm glad I don't own anything in those areas. Because, I mean, believe me, I had the opportunity to buy quite a few in those areas for real cheap. And I just kept my money in places that I really believed in, and I'm glad I did. But yeah, if you're, you know, stressed out about not doing enough deals right now, don't freak out. Don't freak out. Be patient. Time is on your side. It's just one of those rare situations where, you know, being patient and being methodical and the low and slow growth wins versus, you know, the last couple of years it's been the bunny rabbit just racing to the finish line. But now the tortoise gets his chance to catch up. Because the tortoise has cash ready to go. The tortoise doesn't have assets weighing him down. You'll be seeing a lot more of me in the garage. But I'm excited to get this car dialed in. It reminds me of my first E90. Even though my first E90 was a 325. Right here's good. Thanks, brother. Need a water or anything?
No, but I appreciate it.
All right, cool.
It's not quite as hot as it used to be.
Yeah. Have a good one.
Thanks, you too.
All right, so glad to be back on the Wash and Talks. Wrapping this one up, so I'm going to clean out the inside and move on to the other cars. But appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, drop a like on the video, and see you next time. Hopefully we see each other a little bit more.
I'm just really trying to show you no love. Say you tired and you need a new love. Use what you got for your lose love. See new things with your views up. Yeah, what you want, new things.